Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Rania Rafik Khalil. I'm the Director of the Research Center for Irish Studies at the British University in Egypt. The presentation I'm sharing with you today is Sustainability and Internationalization at Home. The bigger title is Internationalization, the Experience of the British University in Egypt. The aim of this presentation is to share the activities and best practices of a private university in Egypt on preparing students for the global challenges by bringing internationalization at home and the different perspectives universities in Egypt have on internationalization at home. Both governmental and private universities in Egypt are striving to bring international exposure to graduate students as well as undergraduate students in order to prepare them for the competitive global job market. So by giving them the exposure they need at home, within the home institution, it is more likely that these undergraduate and graduate students will be able to function and compete globally along their peers, which is not necessarily one of the easiest experiences for a number of reasons, which is the cultural barriers, the cost of travel, which really holds back a lot of our undergraduate and graduate students from traveling abroad. So having internationalization at home is an ideal solution for that. The international experience and cross-cultural exposure has become one of the key underpinning skills that are embedded within the curriculums of the undergraduate students as well as the postgraduate students, and also ensures that the students receive an international understanding of how to communicate effectively across cultures, how to navigate certain situations, and acquire life skills, if we were to put it that way, that will allow them to successfully collaborate, create partnerships, network, publish research, joint projects, acquire funding, and that all is part of internationalization at home. So internationalization at home in the Egyptian universities also encourages the undergraduate and postgraduate students to appreciate diversity, which may not necessarily be something that they're used to, having been for maybe 15 years or 16 years acquiring education in governmental schools, or even if it's private schools in Egypt, they may not necessarily be exposed to different cultures, just simply the Egyptian culture. So by being exposed to internationalization at home, at the home institution, there is a better chance for their understanding of the meaning of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and prepares them for what lies ahead, ensures that they have broader perspectives, that they are more accepting, that they are able to look at things from multiple perspectives, as opposed to just one-sided point of view, which is something that holds back a lot of individuals and graduates here in Egypt, particularly those who are not exposed to internationalization, whether in their undergraduate or postgraduate learning experiences. Some of the activities that we have successfully shared with students is inviting, of course, incoming students from either China or from Europe or from and the UK through our UK partners. Likewise, also visiting professors and scholars who come in and teach for a week or 2 weeks or deliver workshops, bring that international experience to the home institution and to the undergraduate and postgraduate students. One of the most interesting experiences we've had is to collaborate as a university with Lincoln University as well as other universities on something called virtual world tours. Coventry University on virtual world tours, where there's a number of institutions that collaborate together, and the students from these institutions meet other students, undergrads, from different regions around the world, and they introduce their culture or their hometown, their experiences to the other students, and that's been quite successful for the past 3 years. The same can be said about conferences, organizing international conferences and involving academic staff and students in the organizing of the conferences, and inviting speakers from different countries brings that internationalization to the home institution. So both students and academic staff get sufficient exposure to new thought, debates, perspectives, cultures, activities, and also have ample space for networking, creating new relationships, and understanding how to effectively share their thoughts and ideas in a more relaxed, but at the same time very professional, international level. The cultural activities are many because the British University in Egypt has a large number of schools, around 11, which is basically pharmacy, dentistry, computer science, engineering, environmental engineering, business, political science, economics, arts and design, arts and humanities, nursing and physiotherapy. The cultural activities on campus are many, and cultural activities also involve inviting artists from abroad to come and perform their music, their dance, their poetry, their workshops on maybe sustainability, and also something like COP26 and COP27 simulation, which brings around 150 participants from around the world and targeting young adults in understanding the challenges of climate change and mitigating the impact of climate change, and sharing these debates at an international level within their home institution. Collaborative learning, again, through this can be embedded, or this is embedded in the teaching weeks in the undergrad and postgrad classes, which also has been quite interesting because it gives the students in the classroom exposure to a joint lecture or activities online with other students and other professors. Research projects are, of course, another major area that taps into internationalization at home, because that means international funding can be obtained, and whether academic staff and students jointly working together on research projects, they get exposed to international staff in different parts of the world working together across cultures and collaborating on one joint project, which can bring with it a lot of challenges and misunderstandings, and the need for effective communication, effective writing, online meetings, and sharing reports, and and then at the very end submitting a project that is reviewed and evaluated by a number of parties, and the whole experience is part of internationalization at home. Last but not least, art, paintings, arts in its different forms, poetry, dance, music, has also been, at the British University in Egypt, something that we have relied on in exposing our undergraduate students and academic staff to internationalization. Examples of this will follow. One of the most successful events, which took 2 years to prepare for, is the ISL Sustainability and Irish Studies Conference, which took place in July 2023. This was organized by the Research Center for Irish Studies at the British University in Egypt. This conference brought internationalization at home, as you can see from the the snapshot here. We had people from Prague, we had people from Spain, we had people from Mexico, we had participants from Korea, we had participants from China, we had participants from France, we had participants from New Zealand, we had participants from Poland, we had participants from the UK, we had participants from Ireland, we had participants also from Saudi Arabia, we had participants from Egypt as well. And all these came together at the British University in Egypt to discuss Irish studies. And the event took place over 5 consecutive days, and it was extremely enriching for both staff, academic staff at the British University in Egypt, as well as the undergraduate students. Needless to say, the success of this conference, which included, of course, presentations, research papers, cultural activities, arts and painting, sustainability, in everything that was done to prepare for this conference, really led to ensuring that internationalization made a very visible and lasting impact on both the presenters, the participants, the organizers, the keynote speakers, the students, and this successful event received a large number of thank you letters from either senior management in the university or from participating international partners. That's a cultural activity where part of internationalization at home, artists were invited and fully funded to come to the British University in Egypt and share their art and music. That's just, again, here's the Irish ambassador in Egypt, plus a number of prominent and key Irish studies scholars from different parts of the UK and Ireland who came to share their work at the British University in Egypt with both academic staff and students. Again, this is another example of artists sharing their work as part of the internationalization. To sum up, internationalization at the British University in Egypt as a private university is a strong area and continues to be an area of key importance for both academic staff and students in order to ensure they get the exposure to different cultures, different experiences within the home institution. Now, this is also important simply also because of the inflation rate of the foreign currency, which holds back a lot of academic staff and students from traveling abroad. So it does become a more viable experience and solution to have internationalization at home. I'm Rania Khalil, and I'm the director of the Research Center for Irish Studies. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. My email is at the first slide. You're welcome to reach out if you want to participate in our events or you want to discuss new possibilities for collaboration. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed this presentation.